Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All of our guests today brought to you, and that includes Craig Button standing by, brought to you by the Waddling Dog. All sorts of people with submissions regarding the minimum requirement to get your name on the cup. Apparently 41, I should have looked this up, 41 regular season games or one game in the cup final gets your name on the Stanley Cup. Maybe Craig knows, I'm not sure. Joined now by TSN Scouting Director Craig Button. How are you, sir?
I am really good, Donnie, and I do know because in 1999 we had a situation that addressed this. Brent Severin was a part of our team. He ended up getting injured, and he was not able to play 41 games during the regular season, and he was not able to play a game during the Stanley Cup final. But you can also make an application to have somebody that didn't qualify, that was part of your team, to have their name on the cup. We did that with Brent Severin. I know that the New York Rangers did it with Nick Kyprios when they won the Cup in 1994, but the requirements are 41 games during the regular season or one game during the Cup final.
I used to play pickup hockey with Brett Severin's cousin.
Wow.
I'll tell you a funny story about that 99 team. We signed Dougie Lister in February. He was playing with Canada's national team, and there was the Sweden games, and so we convinced Dougie to come and sign with us. And Darian Hatcher had gotten suspended for 7 games, the last 2 regular season games and the first 5 playoff games during that year. We won the first 4 games, swept Edmonton, and then we won our first game versus the St. Louis Blues in the second round. So Dougie Lister was in the lineup, and we were 5-0. And then while Darren Hatcher was coming back in the lineup, and so Dougie Lister came out, and Dougie, who has a great sense of humor, said, "You're going to change a winning lineup? I haven't lost since I came in here, and you're taking me out." And I know that we tried to get Doug Lister's name on the cup because he even though he didn't qualify under the application, he was a really important player on our team that year that won the Stanley Cup down the stretch, and certainly those first 5 games. And I think the world of Dougie Lister, and just interesting how you can have an injured player like Brett Severin, who was a big part of our team, Dougie Lister, who didn't qualify, but just as important to that Stanley Cup team. But his name isn't on the cup, but his name is on the cup.
Yes. 94. Yeah, we're well aware of that, Craig.
That's right.
By the way, you seem very unimpressed by my little factoid there that I played pickup hockey with Brent Severin's cousin. You just glossed over that. I'm shocked.
It's a big story, Craig.
Rick, I did gloss over it because you know what? You don't have to go very far in this country to say, "Oh, I played with so-and-so's second cousin who was married to the first cousin of somebody that was somewhere, someplace." So Donnie, if I came across as unimpressed, just understand, completely unimpressed.
Hey, Tyler Myers, did you expect him to get to 1,000 NHL games looking back?
I did, and when you have that type of range and you have that type of, and he had ability, and what's interesting is he and Luke Schenn, who both played with the Kelowna Rockets and were first-round draft picks in the same draft, play their 1,000th game, right in the same time period, and certainly they were different types of players. I think a few years ago, I would have said that Luke Schenn's chances of playing 1,000 games in the NHL were remote. He found a way to do it. I didn't feel that way about Tyler because, when we watched the game being played, Tyler hasn't slowed down in his skating. And I really believe that Tyler has found a really good place in the Vancouver Canucks lineup. And I think he's benefited from the coaching of Rick Talkin and specifically Adam Foote. I've been really impressed with the way Tyler, and he's a great example. You continue to learn and continue to improve your game. I think he's become a real mainstay on the Vancouver Canucks blue line. And, when he hit free agency last summer, he knew where he wanted to be. And I think that's a reflection on the Canucks and on the coaching staff.
Craig, Elliot Friedman had a story yesterday that Elias Pettersson is having trouble with the noise, the outside noise, Canucks Twitter, media, and it affects him, his play sometimes. Canadian market, it's tougher. What are your thoughts when you hear a player say that?
Well, did he say that, or is he?
Elliot alluded to the fact that, he's having trouble with the outside noise.
Well, I mean, one of the things, Rick, that I'm very careful of is unless I hear it from the player, and unless the player has said that he's struggling with it, I'm not ready to just say that, like, because Elliot reported, he's a good reporter, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to say, but I'm not ready to say, listen, I think in any type of players, and in this case, Elias Pettersson, he performs in a public spotlight. He's compensated very well. Expectations are high for him. And so what goes with that is sometimes things you got to learn how to deal with. So it's one thing to say, okay, I'm having a tough time with the outside noise. I get it. I understand where that can be somewhat of a challenge. But now, and this is where I come from. I come from the point of, okay, so what can we do to help Elias Pettersson? What if I'm the Vancouver Canucks? What can we do? How do we better understand some of these challenges that are affecting his play? If his play isn't up to par, it's going to be affecting the team, and then the team suffers. And we all know that he's a very gifted, very talented player. So I'm not so fussed about the fact that he's saying it, and again, I'm not dismissing what Elliot said. I'm just saying that if that is the case, and we see now, Rick and Donnie, there was a time when mental health was just that guy, there's something wrong with him. I think acknowledging that you're having challenges outside, like in this case, and I'll call it mental health, if it's affecting his play because of outside noise, we got to help a player with that mental health and help them deal with it and help them understand and help him understand, hey, okay, what can I control? What can I not? And how do I get back to playing to the level I can? So I think that Elliot reporting it, I think what we should be doing is understanding that this is good. And now everybody's got to kind of get in there and row in the same direction, grab an oar and help Elias Pettersson deal with this. It's not going to go away. It's just not in our world. It's not going away. So you got to help them.
Yep, absolutely. 100% agree with you. Hey, the Maple Leafs have only given up 13 goals in 6 games, Craig. Craig Berube's gone in there. What's the biggest difference with Berube, if you notice, this year from last year's Leafs team?
Well, I would say 2 things, Rick. One thing, they're not so fussed about puck possession now. I mean, they're going to give up the puck. They're going to try to establish play below the circles. In the past, and there's not one right way to win, but in previous years, it was all about puck possession. Hold the puck, hold the puck, hold the puck, hold the puck, hold the puck. And teams just go, hold the puck. We don't care until you start to attack. And what Craig wants is players to put some pressure on. You think about Matthews' goal on Saturday. He pulls that puck from below the goal line, swings right in front and beats Shesterkin. I'm not so sure that Austin Matthews would have made that play a year ago. And we're talking about a great goal scorer. I think it's more like get it to the net area. That's number one. And I think they're playing that way. Their dumping rate is up, and certainly how they want to play in the offensive zone and give up the puck is something that Craig Berube is asking them to do. The other part of this, too, is I think Anthony Stolarz has really been terrific. In the Monday game versus Tampa Bay, the score was 5-1, and the high danger chances were clearly in the favor of Tampa Bay. And Vasilevsky was terrible on goals 2, 3, and 4. And if Stolarz isn't playing at the level that he was playing at, I mean, that game might be 5-5. But Stolarz held up his end of the bargain when it comes to goaltending. Vasilevsky didn't. So I think those 2 things have and keep in mind that Joseph Woll, days before the start of the regular season, I can't go. Well, Anthony Stolarz says, that's okay, you got me. And I said it last night on TSN. He's their number 1 goaltender. I don't think there's any question.
Hey, Craig, quickly, we talked earlier in the show about the 5-0 Winnipeg Jets. What can you tell us about the 0-5 Nashville Predators?
Yeah, well, so you watched them last year versus the Vancouver Canucks, and they played really well, and they couldn't score. So what did Barry Trotz go and do in the summer? He tried to add scoring. Well, they still can't score. Yeah. I think right now, nobody wants to be 0-5, and that's a tough hole to dig yourself out of. But what I would say, Donnie, is that, trying to find the fit, the symmetry, chemistry, whatever words you want to use to describe, they haven't found it. They look disjointed. They don't look like there's a comfort level with the players that are playing with each other. I think Andrew Burnett's a really good coach. And I don't think he should be in any type of peril. I want to establish that now. But trying to find the fits with each other. And one other thing that I would say, they don't have a number one center. You know, they have these some elite wingers, some really good scoring, but they don't have. Ryan O'Reilly's a terrific player, but he's not a number one center. And I think that's an area that is really lacking in that team, and that's affecting their scoring.
I'll send you some video of my pickup hockey, and you can give us a scouting report next week. All right, along with Severin's cousin.
Yeah.
You know what I would do, Donnie? Put it in standard definition, make it really grainy, because you'll look faster.
Yeah, I'll remember that. Thanks for this, Craig.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.